Hey gang, Dirty Rob from the West Michigan Trail Runners and the Gazelle Sports Dirty Herd here with this week's review of the Saucony Xodus ISO. That's right, ISO Fit comes to the trails. Check it out. Very cool shoe, a lot of good stuff happening here. A lot of changes from previous versions. If you're an Xodus fan, you need to try the shoe on. You need to do your homework because this is not your shoe anymore. There's way more good than bad. I like what they've done for the most part. Unfortunately, I can't run it. I'll get into why and why you should consider it. So, top down, nice padded collar and tongue, big heel counter, big toe rand. This thing is still a tank. They listed it a little over 10 ounces. My size 14 is 13.6. This is still the tank of their line. That has not changed. There is no tongue to it anymore. It is now gusseted all the way up to the top. You can see it right there. Yeah. Fit-wise, it didn't affect my foot. I had a few other people test it out. I didn't hear anyone having any fit issues with it. It's still, you can still dial it in very comfortably. Although I wouldn't surprise me if someone throws a comment down below eventually saying that their really high arched, rigid foot couldn't get in here or was uncomfortable here. Or someone with a really skinny foot found this thing to wrinkle, crease, cause some hot spots. Those are the two downsides when you take away a tongue from a shoe and you add this kind of thing. I heard very little about that just from customers from the other ISOFIT shoes in their line. So I'm not too worried about it happening with this shoe. But again, I would suggest you try it on if you get a chance. But there's also another big reason for that coming up. Stay tuned. So, rest of the upper, the ISOFIT. They've definitely learned their lesson from previous versions. The ISOFIT cage sits back a little further, well away from those metatarsal heads, so the toes could really splay out and you don't get that squeeze anywhere near them. You can see the orange kind of call out there on those. That's almost like a micro mesh or a screen. It seemed to make it more flexible. It really dialed in the fit way more on this shoe and made it a way more comfortable fit than the previous versions of the Xodus. So through this part of the upper, I was in love with this shoe. This part of the upper, I was not in love with the shoe. This toe box is way roomier than I expected. Previous versions of the Xodus were a little narrow, but considering what they did to the Peregrine this time, I really thought they'd go in the same direction and get a shoe that wasn't as pointy and much more comfortable here. And this shoe is tight here, very tight, more so than I expected. So if you are one of those people who likes a little toe splay and likes your toes to spread out, and not even talking ultra width, but if you love the new Peregrine and you've been a Saucony person across the board, this is going to be a problem. This toe rand is nice. I didn't have so much of a problem with it. It's pretty significant as you get past the big toe and past maybe the fourth toe, and then it gets a little more flexible and you kind of lose a little bit of it. And it's not stitched as well on, so it's a little more flexible and a little more comfortable there. But this, the general height, the volume, and the squeeze of this toe box was problematic. I would highly suggest you get this thing on your foot and you try it on before you buy it. I know someone's going to have a problem with it. I'm sorry, so I hate to break that news to you if you're an Xodus fan, but this fit is very unique, I think. Well, the whole thing's unique and different than previous versions, but this is going to be the deal breaker, if anything. This ISOFIT application is fantastic and I think a great addition. I'd love to see them do it to the Peregrine down the road because they've really got it dialed in comfortably now. Midsole, Everrun, see it right there, just like their top line road shoes. They have a whole stretch of it in place of the stromal board right into the sock liner, super comfortable, and helps lend itself to a much more runnable shoe, which is a pro and a con. You know, if you look at the bottom, those big traditional lugs from the Xodus line are gone. You have Power Track outsole now. The Power Track combined with the Everrun in the midsole makes the shoe way more runnable than previous versions of it. So that I think is great. It still has the same 4mm drop, 20 and a half here, 24 and a half there. So the shoe is way more runnable, way more versatile, can be used on a lot more conditions, gravel roads, light trails, heavy trails, whatever. I guess my problem with that is if there are those of you out there who are looking for their next, special niche shoe that's going to handle the mud, going to handle the slush, going to handle the garbage, I don't know if this is going to do the job anymore. I mean, you can obviously see the lug pattern is way different. Now, it's a super dry summer here in Michigan. I haven't had a chance to test this in any kind of nasty conditions yet. But the fact that it's way more runnable, way more flexible than previous versions, I feel like, I think they're going to get way more fans with this shoe. But the handful of people who loved the previous Xodus outsole, I don't know if this is going to do it for you. It might. I could be totally wrong. This thing might perform way better, and if it does, let us know in the comments below. but that's a huge departure, and I think it's going to make a few people a little skeptical about how it's going to perform. There, I said it. I'm sorry. It is what it is. All right. Other wrinkle to this shoe. They've also come out with a Run Shield version. The Run Shield version, very cool looking, all black, little color call spinning on the men's or women's version. It is water resistant, not waterproof. They've gone away from the Gore-Tex and they've put a DWR treatment on the shoe that makes it water resistant, way more breathable, and most importantly, lighter. So when you added Gore-Tex to a shoe, they never removed something from the sock liner. So they just added another layer in there, which made the upper stiffer, made it heavier, made it crinkle when you ran in it, made it way more uncomfortable, a little heavier, way hotter. The Run Shield is an application. So you only add, I think it was 0.2 of an ounce, some crazy small number. It's more breathable, water resistant, which means you should still stay perfectly dry in rain, snow, even running through a stream. You know, you're through that stream super fast. It's not going to get into the shoe unless it gets over the collar. So you should be dry through all the normal conditions that you would test out a Gore-Tex shoe in. The nice part is though, the fit is more consistent, so I didn't notice a fit difference between this shoe and the Run Shield version. I did notice a weight difference because it was so incremental, but there's a small one. And it's still going to be water resistant. I mean, again, unless you're standing in a puddle, it's essentially waterproof, but more breathable and more comfortable. So all in all, nice improvements to the shoe, whether it's a Run Shield version or this. I love what they've done. My only complaint is they got to fix this toe box and give it a little more room, a little more breathability. But I love the fact it's still 4 millimeters. I know it's still a heavy shoe, but that's what it's there. If you want to run faster, grab the Peregrine. Get away from this thing. This is your tank. This is your durable, SUV for the trails. So all in all, Saucony, nice shoe, great work. One little wrinkle I think you got to figure out, but other than that, I love what you guys have done. I think you're going to get a ton more fans of this shoe versus the previous version. So appreciate the time, guys. Saucony, appreciate the shoe. You guys have a great summer. I'll be back next week, I think, with an Innovate shoe. And as always, please leave the notes in the comments below if you have any thoughts on the shoe. We love hearing back, and we love people getting out and testing them in different conditions, because obviously West Michigan is not the gnarliest mountain terrain for me to test these on. So that's it, gang. Get outside, enjoy Mother Nature. Have a great summer. Talk to you soon.